Hello guys, it's Filipino Joe. How y'all doing today? Oh, let's say Tuesday morning here. Beautiful day again. Today's video, I want to do a video on police corruption in the Philippines. Does it exist? And the simple, direct answer is yes, it does. Corruption exists everywhere throughout not just the Philippines, but throughout America and every country out there. You can't not get away from corruption. But I wanted to do this video because I want some input from a lot of the Filipinos that live here and expats that have lived here for a long period of time. Um, what's prompting this video is when I did my last couple of videos on an update on Pro-Life Traveler. Everybody was quickly out there accusing the police of doing it only for money. And it's such a quote unquote cop out. It's easy to say, well, because he's got money, that's the only reason they prosecuted him and they're doing it for the money. Now, if that's the case, for all of you people out there that are accusing the local policeman in Dumaguete of doing this for the money, please show me your proof, okay? It's so easy to sit there on a keyboard or behind a phone and say, well, if you don't like what they're doing, it's got to be corrupt, it's got to be about the money. I show some proof, okay? I've done some research in this particular field since this came up, and I actually, in a little bit, I'm going to reveal with you an interview I had with a police officer from Dumaguete. He's been with the force for 16 years. And we had a pretty good conversation the other night. So if there's corruption out there and you know about it, please forward that information to me and I'll look into it. But usually when it comes to corruption, I know especially here in the Philippines, it's usually in the political level. I don't know if you're aware of it, but the flood project, as they call it here, raised a nationwide scandal, and the Filipino people have been out protesting, especially up in Manila. A lot of money was taken from projects and used for personal wealth, and that's been a big deal the last, I don't know, I think 6 months ago is when that broke out. And it's still happening to this day. But yeah, at the politician level, there is a lot of corruption. America's the same way where I came from. They're so corrupt over there. I think it's worse in America, I honestly do. I don't know a politician out there in America that hasn't made millions of dollars since they became a senator or congressman. But anyway, so to blame this whole Pro-Life Traveler situation on corrupt cops is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, like, you know, if you got the proof, bring it on. But this guy did some things that he should be in jail. And speaking of that, the Russian blogger, Vitaly, he just got released. He was in prison for 10 months. And he got released for harassing and belittling the police and the Filipino people, and he got 10 months in prison for that. And I guess he just got deported a couple of days ago. And so there's a lot of people making the argument that Pro-Life Traveler did things worse than that, and is he going to face any jail time? Nobody knows. Okay, I watched a blogger yesterday that supposedly the woman dropped all the charges. He actually showed the paperwork, the affidavit, where she dropped all the charges against him. But then apparently there's more charges from different people out there. So we don't know what the situation is. But to blame the corruption on the police is ridiculous. I had a great conversation with a 16-year veteran from the police department. And I asked him about the case. Now I understand he can't relay a lot of the information. But I asked him flat out, I says, is there corruption in the police department in Dumaguete? He said, no. He said, you know, they accuse us of that all the time. and he would know. He's actually an investigator and an enforcer. He investigates drug trafficking. So he's on a very dangerous field as far as policemen go here in this area, and he's been doing it for a long time. And so at his level, he's had his life threatened. He gave me an example a couple times where he's had death threats. And he's been offered a lot of money under the table to drop cases. Now, he didn't take the money, but he said, yeah, he said the attempts are out there. And he said a lot of times you see it in the drug enforcement side. So I asked him, I said, what's the biggest crime here in this area around Dumaguete? And he says it's theft. Theft of services or theft of property is the biggest crime that they investigate, other than drugs. He said the drugs is another big problem. He said it's not as bad as it used to be, but it's still a major problem. And he goes undercover a lot, so that's why he can't come out here and actually come on camera, because we don't want his identity released. But so then I asked him, I said, what about expats? Do they commit crimes here? And he said, oh yeah. He said, I said, really? He said, what are the biggest crimes that they commit? He said theft, believe it or not. I said, really? He said, yeah. We get him on theft. We get him on drug charges. Of course, he's got to keep this stuff quiet. But there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes. But to lay out accusations that the police are doing this for money, first of all, how would they even coordinate that? They didn't bring this case on. The police just go ahead and, do the search warrants and things of that nature. Immigration was pretty much in charge of that whole scenario with him overstaying his visa. It really didn't have anything to do with police. So be careful when you accuse the police of being corrupt. Now, there are many instances in the past throughout the country where there have been policemen that have been corrupt, okay? But it's not happening right here in this Dumaguete area. So, what causes corruption? Well, low wages is an issue here. A lot of the new offices, you could easily influence them because they don't make a lot of money, okay? So that could be a cause of corruption. Another thing, I wrote down some illegal drugs, okay? That can be a cause of corruption, because if an officer can easily get access to these illegal drugs and sell them on the side. Is that happening around here? No, it's not. Has it happened in the past? Yes, it has. So, support these guys. Cops all over the world right now are getting a bad rap. All these guys do is wake up in the morning, they go out and try to do their job. They don't set policy, they don't issue the search warrants, they go and enforce them. Okay? It saddens me to see that this goes on. And guys, please support everybody out there as far as your law enforcement go. Because guess what? If it's your family that needs their support, you're going to be the first one to rely on them. So be careful what you say about them and how you react to what's going on before you actually know the facts. And for all of you out there, if you have some examples of this stuff going on, corruption, tell me some stories about it. Let me know. And I'd be more than willing to, discuss it, and we can talk about it and look into it further. So with that being said, I'd like to thank everybody. I had a lot of new subscribers in the last week, and I thank all of you guys very much for coming on board. There again, let me know if there's something you want to know about here in the Philippines. I'd be more than glad to cover it for you. Please subscribe, become a member. I got another new member. Thank you very much, Jason, for being a member. Appreciate it. Appreciate your support. If you can donate to Buy Me a Coffee to support the channel, that would be a big help. It'll help me raise money to travel around, do more videos and vlogs. So guys, with that being said, tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock Filipino time in the morning, I'm going to do another live stream. I'll be doing a post on it to let you know, remind you. So it'd be awesome if you could attend that. And thanks guys, have a great day. We'll see you in the next one.